All right, what's up, Sky Squad? It's your boy DJ Richie Sky. Listen, before we get into this interview, we're going to be discussing Tessica, the young lady who, applied the Gorilla Glue to her hair. Okay. Now, we had this discussion before she actually was able to get it out, and thankfully, she was able to get it out with no permanent damage that we know of as of yet. TMZ has reported that she's successfully been able to get it out of her hair. The doctors were able to get it out using a combination of material. So that's all well and good. However, in this discussion, we're going to be talking about, who's legally liable for her having this incident in the first place. Now, this is where it gets juicy. There's a lot of information here that I had no clue about. So I'm excited for you guys to watch and learn, as I did, exactly why this might have happened to her and who could potentially be liable in this instance. So, go ahead and watch the video, enjoy it, and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. What's up, Sky Squad? We are back with another video on the Unfiltered channel. And y'all know I like to have these random conversations about topics that are of interest to me in some strange way. And today I could not think of any person better to have this discussion with than Sue Ann Robinson. Sue Ann, tell us a little bit about your background, because I want people to hear it directly from you.
Well, be well. What's up? Happy Black History Month. Sue Ann, at Not Just a Lawyer. I'm an attorney. I practice in civil rights litigation and business disputes, as well as criminal defense. I worked on TV a lot of broadcasts, Wrongman, which is on Stars, and, all network news stuff. And I work with you, obviously. So I'm just excited to be here. And your conversations are not random. These are very important community issues, okay?
They are, but sometimes I need help processing them. And I know that there are other people out there that probably need the same assistance. And so I try to call on people that I feel like would be most, have the most, experience with the conversation and really getting us to a place of understanding. And there's tons of things that we can talk about, but there's a couple of specifics that I wanted to talk about today. Okay.
Let's get into it.
So first things first, I need to understand this Gorilla Glue situation. Now, for everybody who is confused, there was a young lady who has apparently thought that Gorilla Glue would be the optimal thing to use to keep her ponytail slicked down, edges laid. Now, personally, I thought that when you use the glue,
right,
it was merely to tack down the...
Okay, Richie, you better come on.
The wig around the edges, so that it stays on the head.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the glue all over the head.
Okay.
What's that about?
Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
As a girl with some 4C hair up under this wig, okay, it needs to be slicked down properly. So no, you definitely don't use Gorilla Glue, but you can use gel. And she wasn't doing a wig hairstyle. The thing that you see people use that got to be the yellow spray. She wasn't applying a wig. She was trying to get her hair slicked back, like you said, get her edges laid so that she could attach the ponytail and have a smooth look to it. And with 4C hair, there's all these videos showing you how to do it, because 4C hair is very bouncy, very porous, very curly, very awesome. And, to get all of that awesome gravitiness to slick down, you need a lot of gel. So, and especially for that style where it's like you putting designs and stuff like into your own hair. So I was with her, trying to gel down her hair. What she used was wrong. Okay. So legally speaking, what is the issue? I personally think it's a brand confusion issue, which might give her a case, because there is a hair gel called Gorilla Snot that uses a gorilla on its logo. And then obviously
wait. It's called what?
Gorilla Snot, friend. I'm not trying to raise up their stocks or nothing like that, but yeah. So people,
wait, because that's a detail we have to. I gotta dive into
this is my theory, okay? Just so we're clear.
Okay.
I'm not trying to, jump on Gorilla Snot. Legally, I'm saying if I am Gorilla Glue's attorney, I'm like, you guys, we messed up because when Gorilla Snot came on the market, they really should have tapped them for trademark infringement or something because they have the same logo. It's a gorilla, and then it's a product that's for hair to make your hair, to tack down your hair. So granted, they're in two different parts of the store. Gorilla Glue is in hardware. Gorilla Snot is in the beauty supply section, probably the ethnic beauty supply section. Okay, so they're not in the same section of the store. But at the same time, this is, the consumer business has to put on bleach. Don't drink this. You know what I mean? So I feel like if Gorilla Glue would have had me, I would have been like, oh, we can't do this Gorilla Snot stuff because I don't want any problems. And they, I'm not trying to boost up her case, okay? Because honestly, but at the same time, there is Gorilla Snot. You can Google it, and it has a gorilla on the bottle, and it's used for your hair. So,
wow.
And we innovative. Like, we built the Got To Be brand. Like, Got To Be, the spray, wasn't doing anything until Black girls started using it to put their lace on. You know what I'm saying? Until we started using that spray and that gel, Got To Be gel, they weren't doing anything. So, we are the culture. But sometimes some of us don't attend all the functions and get all the memos. And my sister did not get the memo that Gorilla Snot and Gorilla Glue is not the same thing.
Ooh, you just added a whole couple of new layers to this. So I got questions real quick.
Okay.
So is there a potential trademark issue here? Like, I mean, and for those who are wondering, Sue-Ann is not just a lawyer. She's also a TV host, media personality, all that in the third. But for today's discussion, we're going to call upon her legal expertise to get some, just to answer some questions and try to understand this. So from your standpoint, could there be a trademark issue?
Well, the problem now is there's consumer confusion. Okay. That's the argument. That as a consumer, she could argue that she was confused and thought Gorilla Snot and Gorilla Glue were similar products based on the logo because they both use an actual cartoon of a gorilla. So there's consumer confusion. And it really is the job of the company that would become liable if there was an issue with consumer confusion to guard against that, to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So if there's when they started having candy cigarettes and then actual cigarette companies start being liable because they're like, hey, you guys are encouraging kids to smoke cigarettes because you're making candy that looks like cigarettes, like that kind of thing. When there's an opportunity for there to be consumer confusion, you want to make sure you guard against that kind of thing. And I don't think, they anticipated it, but that's the job of the lawyers. We're supposed to anticipate the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is somebody actually drinking bleach and somebody taking the Gorilla Glue that is for household little odd jobs and trying to be innovative and using on their hair. It's the worst case scenario. It is the absolute worst case scenario of consumer confusion I've ever seen.
Wow. So, from my perspective, and I feel like probably from a large portion of the general population who may not know about Gorilla Snot, we're just all looking at her like, why would you think about using this product on your head?
I mean, like I said, the consumer brands have to be very specific in their labeling. Obviously, you have to child-proof certain items for this exact reason, because you have to account for the least of us. And I'm not trying to diss my sister. I'm just saying for people who would use the product improperly, you have to account for that in your packaging, in your labeling, in all that stuff. They have testing for months and months, sometimes years before a product goes to market, to test out all the worst case scenarios. What if somebody does drink it? What if somebody does put it in their eyes? Nobody anticipated, obviously, that Black Girl Magic was going to enter the foray and try to innovate in such a way that's, you know, and you listen, in a way it's good for the product in the sense that we all now know that Gorilla Glue, the spray, really, really works. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is gonna stick your stuff, even your hair. But for her, I mean, obviously I'm sending positive thoughts and prayers for her because, you know, her crown is in distress right now. I heard that Beyonce's hair team is like reaching out to her to try to offer her some help. It's possible that she's going to have, you know, some actual she will have chemical damage to her hair. You know, it's possible that her hair follicles are damaged and she won't be able to grow hair. Like, this is a very serious, like, medical issue. It's cute and it's funny, obviously, because she's kind of funny. But at the same time, when you look at, like, the damages, it's very, very serious. It's serious.
So, you know, there's been talk about her allegedly, potentially suing the company.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have a case?
Okay. So, in terms of a direct case based on the product as is, I don't think so. Because, you know, it's labeled, it's in a different area of the store, all of those things. Based on consumer confusion with Gorilla Snot, if that argument was proposed, which I don't even know if it is. I don't even know if it's being proposed. It's possible. It's possible.
So who has the burden of responsibility here? Is it Gorilla Snot or Gorilla Glue?
I think it's whoever had that trademark or started using that Gorilla first.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoever started using that first, because then if it was Gorilla Glue and then Gorilla Snot enters, you'd be like, no, y'all can't use that. Like, if there was something inedible that was called bacon, and I'm just saying bacon, that's not a brand. Bacon should be like, hey, y'all can't call y'all rat poison bacon.
Right? Because
if people go get that rat poison thinking it's bacon, regular bacon, that's going to cause an issue. So it's an argument along those lines that you don't want your brand to be confused when it can harm people, when it can harm someone. Someone could make a deadly mistake. And luckily, you know, she wasn't eating it or something like that. But, you know, it could have long-term effects on her health.
You know, I saw a video of her talking about how she wasn't doing this for clout or anything like that. Because, you know, now you almost have to second guess whether or not did they do it for clout? Did they do it because they want to be known?
Right.
Given the severity of the potential damage, what do you think her next step should be?
I mean, obviously her next steps should be, you know, remedying medically, you know, whatever's going on with her, you know. And then I think that she's endured so much kind of bullying online and things like that. You know, that stuff is tough and it takes a toll, especially if you were living, you know, a normal, somewhat anonymous life. And then now everybody is talking about you, you're on TV. And especially if she feels guilty or feels like it was a mistake and everyone is basically laughing at her. It's like, it's on such a large scale. It's not like, oh, somebody just a bully in your classroom. You have, you know, millions of people bullying you and replaying the issue. And, you know, so I think she should also, you know, honestly look into therapy about that and then get offline. Get offline and just heal and get herself better. And then focus on if she really wants to pursue, you know, a legal case and, you know, talk to a qualified attorney to talk to her about possible causes of action. That's what I think she should do. I know I didn't mean to get all serious, but
no, I mean, this is, I think, what a lot of us, I think you have explained some things that a lot of us probably didn't even think about with regards to this. Because a lot of times when we see it online, we think it sounds so outlandish and so outrageous that it borders on comical, right? Seeing her reaction, seeing the video, and knowing the landscape of what we tend to see, in memes and in jokes and stuff like that, it definitely seemed funny. But like, the more you talk about it, the more I'm kind of like, oh, well, dang, like, she could really have a head full of damage.
Yeah, if it was a prank, like if she was like, oh, just kidding, I didn't really do that, then okay. But she really, really put this stuff on her head. She's really going to have damage to her scalp. She's really going to have to get, professional help to remedy that. And then dealing with the cyberbullying, which is crazy, she's going to have to deal with that too. Because even if she made a stupid mistake, even if I go on, be a devil's advocate and be like, how ridiculous could you be? She still doesn't deserve millions of people calling her, dumb and, even if she made a mistake, because people make mistakes. People make stupid mistakes.
Very, very true. Speaking of mistakes, I want to just dive into something really quickly about the biggest mistake of all is, having 45 as our president. Okay, so he's facing the second impeachment.
Right.
Now, this basically, this wasn't even something I was going to ask you about, but I saw you post about it. So I was like, ooh, I got to ask, for us who are not necessarily in the world of politics and who are just sort of lay people, what is the issue with getting this man impeached? Okay. Like, for real, like having it go through the trial and having the Senate actually impeach him.
Okay. So the impeachment trial is not like court in a traditional sense. It's a political trial. And so it requires the Senate to actually vote just like they do on legislative issues. And so, they're sitting as a jury and acting as the fact finders, but it's still very politically driven. So people that have their political bias or their political leanings or their political favors in the background that we're not aware of are still governed by that. Whereas if we were in a court of law, it'd be very straightforward. It's like, here's the burden. It's been met. The facts, what happened match with the statute, and you're done. You're out of here. Whereas in an impeachment trial is a very politically driven event. And, unfortunately, they're saying there's not going to be enough votes for him to actually be convicted. He has been impeached, which is the charging. He's been charged. But whether or not he'll be convicted by the Senate, they're saying there's not enough votes. The reason why it blows my mind is because the Senate are the victims. Like, they were the ones. So I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me people pull up trying to attack y'all and based on something that he... Okay. Make it make sense. They're the jury and the victims. Okay? And they're not going to have enough votes. Hey, good luck. It's not our fight.
Well, let me ask you this question. Does the impeachment prevent him from running again, or would it have been the conviction?
The conviction. Friend. So, there's other constitutional things that can be used to prevent him from running if, everybody's swinging in the same direction. And let's just hope that if that time arose, we would be strong enough, we would have the spirit of Stacey Abrams to, get it together. Let's just hope for that. But the actual conviction ain't looking too good.
Wow. That's crazy to me.
It's wild. But it's political. It's like just like with the stimulus checks. Like, we can't get the votes in order to like do the stuff. We can't, it's political. So,
Oh my God, this country is so crazy to me. I want to get your thoughts on this one last thing while I have you on the line, and I want to pull it up really quickly. Okay. It's something that I just want to know how often this kind of thing occurs. Okay. So let me pull it up.
You have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's
this right here. This could have been me. Real, because Zoom Court.
How does Zoom Court work?
Zoom Court is craziness because you have to log in to a specific judge's, Zoom ID to go to court, basically. But it's really on the lawyers. And, you have to remember your average lawyer, we're very good at lawyering and maybe not that good at sex. So this has been a learning experience for all of us. We've had cases where attorneys got their Zoom on in their room. We've had cases where judges have had to order attorneys to wear pants to Zoom court. It's been a crazy, crazy time. Like, you now are seeing your colleagues' homes for the first time sometimes, and you're like, oh, okay. It's just been so much. People think they're on mute and they're talking to their spouse or their kids or whatever, and everybody in court hearing all their business. I actually moderated, I won't say exactly what it was. I moderated it was candidates. And one of the candidates did the entire forum from his car in a parking lot at Walmart. And I was like, okay. So and you know what? Honestly, people, being in the broadcast space as well as in the lawyer space, I have a unique set of skills. I really do. I never thought about it, but I do. And so it's now when you're seeing attorneys essentially have to be in a broadcast space because you're on video. Watch out. Hit me up if you need some training at Not Just a Lawyer, because wow, baby.
That's an actual thing. I mean, I don't know if it's Zoom etiquette or what you want to call it, but it's just like, you got to think about what your media room looks like.
Yes.
Or your media space, I should call it. And I think we obviously have that expertise because, this is something that we're used to doing.
Right.
But it's kind of crazy out there. Sue-Ann, I want to thank you so much for just stopping by and chatting with us. This was kind of last minute, as my thoughts typically can be, but I'm so glad you had time for it. Can you tell us what you have coming up or any things that we need to be looking out for as we're kind of out here in these legal streets?
Well, I have a new club on Clubhouse app. If you're on Clubhouse, it's the new Civil Rights Movement app, club. And we're hosting a lot of, call to action conversation for what we call the most important work of our lives. So definitely join, definitely come hang out there and get into some good conversations with good people about good stuff. We have Freestyle Friday where everybody just stops by and even the lawyers spit bars. So it's fun times. Just a time to kind of de-stress and relax because everything we talk about is so serious. The work is
right.
So it's a good opportunity for us to connect with everybody in the community and share resources and stuff like that. So it's a good time.
Okay. So you guys heard it here first, and you guys can follow her on Instagram at Not Just a Lawyer and see all of the things that she's doing. She's making appearances here, there, and everywhere.
For y'all, for the culture.
There you go. DJ Richie Sky and Sue-Ann Robinson, we are out. Guys, I will catch you in the next video.